Today, I'm going to be playing Theme Park Tycoon 2 for 24 hours. I'm recording this intro after I've made this video, and this may just be the best thing I've ever built in this game. We will be starting with 5 million in-game dollars, so we don't have to worry at all about our money and just go nuts on the building. And before this video, I drew up a simple plan right here of what I wanted to build within these 24 hours. My idea is a huge aquatic fantasy-themed castle on top of an island surrounded by water, and there's also flying fish. I know this is completely random, but my inspiration for this castle was a Grians house in hermitcraft season 6, which essentially was many houses stacked on top of one another. And that's what I sort of want to do for my castle. So let's get the 24 hours started. Alright, we've got quite a big plot to work with. I don't have to worry about building the money farm, so let's just get to it. So let's start off with the terrain right here. Of course, it's going to be sand because I want this to be sort of a beach. So we could have it go angled down like this. And then from here, we can just angle it whichever way we want to. Just keeping it random. So I'm just going to try that real quick and see if it actually works. Alright, I think this could actually work. It's nothing crazy. I do need to fit in all of these gaps here. And pieces like this are going to be a bit annoying. But I'm hoping that you won't notice it when, yeah, you're fully zoomed out, yeah. We do, however, need to paint it. Oh, yeah, something like this. And I'm just going to fill up all of these gaps right here. I'll see you in a second. Okay. I've just finished building down all of the sand on the right side of this beach right here. And I've got to say, it is looking clean. I just need to do this again on the left side. So let me just snap my fingers like this. Alright, we are 2 hours in. And I've finished the base of the beach. I'm really happy with how this is looking. I've never done anything on this scale before. I've nearly chipped away an entire million. But what I want to do now is actually dig a big hole right here. Just remove this layer of terrain. This is gonna take a while. I don't know if I'm going too ambitious here and we won't be able to finish this. But I'm gonna keep being optimistic and hoping that we can finish this insane castle. Oh, my finger hurts. Just delete this terrain. And there we go. We chipped away all of the terrain. Now let's add some water in. Okay. Oh no. We're gonna have this really annoying, weird, like, glitch where all the water won't be loaded in. Seriously? Oh, man, that actually sucks. Why is that happening? Is it because of my, like, graphics? No, my graphics are, like, really high. How do I build fake water? I ain't that skilled of a builder. That's gonna cost an absolute fortune. I could just straight up just use this. It's just a really bright blue foil primitive. It should do the trick, though. Okay, there's the water in. At least we can customize it a lot more. Like, we can easily just, if we want to, darken the water a bit. Well, that actually doesn't look too bad, you know? Okay, I am gonna add a lot more details to the beach, making it look a lot more realistic, adding probably some coral on the surface. I feel like that could be a cool touch. But I actually think we should get cracking on the actual island that our castle's gonna sit on. In the reference image, our castle is huge. I think the island has to be somewhat big as well to fit a structure of that size on it, you know? So I'm just gonna try and plan out a shape that I like. Okay, just a few minutes later, and I've cooked up this little plan right here. I tried my best to show you guys what I'm trying to visualize right here, including like all the heights of where the island will go. I tried to make it as natural looking as I could. If you envision a massive castle on it, it should look alright. Like, I'm imagining the castle taking up the entirety of this island. We've even got these little dinky ones right here, either side of the island. You can put some like palm trees or whatever on those. So let's turn this big red splotch right here into an island. Okay, we're around like 3 hours in now, and I think I've got something going on here. So the sand is obviously darker when it's touching the water. I've got a whole bunch of foam from the water just hitting up against the beach. And then we just got a whole bunch of light grey rocks just going around here. A whole bunch of like sand on a few of them. Then we have the sand somewhat transitioning into the grass. And yeah, I'm just gonna crack on with it. I think this will probably take a huge chunk of time out. So you know what? Let's hop into a quick time lapse. Okay, we're approaching hour 5 now, and this is what it's looking like. I've sort of now got an idea of what I think all the terrain will look like. It's really just long rectangular blocks on top of each other, and I think it looks pretty cool. I think this is basically what the entire island's gonna look like. This is literally like begging for a cavern. But you know what? I think I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna grab one of these walls. If you couldn't tell, they're all just copy and pasted over. I have tried to make them look all different though, but it just saves a whole bunch of time copying and pasting them over, and I kind of need time in this challenge, because we basically have like less than 20 hours now. now. Just like this, yep, nice. Now I just need to carve away where the massive hole will go. Probably something like that. So now I just want to make it a bit more smoother by basically just outlining the cavern entrance like so. Well, of course, I don't want to make it a perfect circle, so I'm just going to whack it into this wall right there. And we're just going to pull that back a bit. I think just for now, for the time being, I am just going to block it off, which seems a bit pointless. But I don't want to rush into anything. If I've got an idea for it later on down the line, maybe I could have like some Kraken tentacles come in. That just sounds sick. Kraken tentacles coming out of this cave. Yo, if we got time, we're doing that. But now I'm just going to finish off this entire island. This is going to take absolutely ages. I'm kind of worried. So fingers crossed it doesn't take that long. Okay, we're coming up to around hour 7 now. And this is what the island is looking like. We have fully completed the main island. We've still got the 2 little islands on each side to do. But for the most part, this main one is done. The hardest part was this. The actual flooring on the second layer, because you had all of these weird angles to do and all these slopes. That was quite tricky. But now what I want to do is actually block out and once again just plan the shape of this castle. Now this castle is going to be huge. So I'm thinking it will start probably around here. Like we're going to have the main tower here. Let's just raise this up. Obviously taking inspiration from the reference image I drew up. I really want to try and stick to having it all mismatched and as if this is a building on top of many other buildings. Something like this looks mental. Is this even going to be possible? I'm also thinking we could have like a bridge on this side, just going over to here, and then it'll just go straight down on top of this island actually. And let's copy and paste an angle and have it on the other side as well. Bro, this is huge. And you know what? We can have another tower right there. I think somehow we could actually make this work. I think we can. Okay, so now I just need to actually start building on this, and I don't know where I should start. I think the first thing I'm gonna do is just go through this entire thing and sort of detail it, and then we could just paint everything later. I think that's probably our best bet. So I'm just gonna do a few blocks just to get an idea in my head, and I'll catch you guys up in a second, and I guess we'll go from there. Okay, a few minutes later, I've got a little bit of a plan out now, just on a few of these buildings right here, and I was struggling a bit on literally just how to get started, because I've never built anything like this before, and I was playing around with a few primitives to try and see which fit the vibe more of like aquatic, underwater, sort of an Atlantis vibe, and I thought that hexagons and a lot of like circle shapes, I think fit very well to try and achieve that vibe. I think this is our color scheme we're gonna go with. Not entirely sure about that yet, but I think at the moment, this is what we're gonna go with. Just white rocks for our outlines, and then the actual base of all the buildings will be beige, snowy color. And for any highlights, it's gonna be like light blue. All we need to do now is actually get painted, because this just looks really weird at the moment. It'll be way better for me once I can actually get all the colors down and actually start properly visualizing what this will look like. Okay, I painted everything very roughly at the moment. I haven't got any shading in, like right here. I think I could actually just make it a lot more of a darker grey color. Yeah, maybe a bit lighter actually, hold on. But you know what? I think that's not a bad color palette. And of course we can have the odd building that doesn't have the exact same color palette, so it all doesn't look like it's copy and pasted really, even though it's not. But you get what I'm saying, so that doesn't look too repetitive. But now I'm just gonna work on this entire middle building, adding all the little details, painting it all up, and I'll catch you when I've done that. So I got straight to it. First of all, I repainted everything to see how grey would work instead of the beige color, and I thought it looked great. So I went with it and repainted everything to the white, grey and blue color palette. And then I got cracking on the first building, adding the white outlines, and I did think it was a tad too high, so I lowered it a bit and thought it looked a lot more normal and less top heavy. And I thought that the entire build was looking a bit bland and a bit monotone, monochrome. I'm colorless, really. So I thought, why not add some corals to the side of the buildings, including the one that we just worked on, which definitely transformed it. And I built on this huge block next to the main part of the castle, obviously going with hexagons and arches to fit within the rest of the build. I also had little circles on the top of this tall tower. I don't know, I just thought it looked cool. Back to this part of the castle, I thought that the walls of the build were looking a bit bland. And then I had an idea to do some engravings on the walls, sort of like how you see in Egyptian pyramids, and then just copy and pasted all of that on all the walls on all 4 sides. Next, I thought that everything so far was very blocky. Not a lot of circles going on, so I changed that. After adding coral to this tower, I removed the blockiness of it and replaced it with cylinders, and added a dome roof, which I'll soon use for the entire castle, because it adds so much to the style I'm trying to go for. I continued to make it look like a proper Atlantis style tower, and also opening up the bottom part of it, which looks so cool, and mixes this build up from everything else I've done. And I take a look at it from afar to see what it's looking like, and get right back to building. This time we're working on the massive block at the back of the castle, castle. And I actually thought it would look a whole lot better if it was a cylinder rather than a square. So I replaced it, and it did look a lot better. So I got to resizing the tower, just trying to get the shape that I like. Which, not gonna lie, looks awful now. But don't worry, it gets a lot better. So I worked on it, adding more and more little details. I thought these cones looked pretty good. They did not, and I soon get rid of them, replacing them with these interesting pillars. So the bottom half of this tower finished. I work on the top half, adding whatever this is, and also some small windows to the very top, and I thought, why not add them to the entire castle? Because there isn't a single window anywhere. Even making smaller versions and some really small versions. And just by adding a few windows to the castle, it's now really coming together nicely. Then the last building in the main part of the castle was this huge block. I once again swapped that wedge-shaped roof out for a dome. Add all the little details, you know how this goes. This time I thought, why not cover the entire building in windows? And with that, I basically finished the main part of this castle, which brings us back to present day me. Alright, we have now just hit hour 12. I've got to say, I'm really liking how it's looking. Not only that, I don't usually do this, but I've also done the back. Oh, I've forgotten that bit. Well, we've done some of the back. It's not much, it's mainly just a whole bunch of windows, but I still think it looks pretty nice. It was really tricky to try and figure out what would look best in different places, but I slowly realized that all of these arches and a whole bunch of cylinders on the top of the buildings really make it look a lot more like an underwater city. And also the coral helps a ton. Yeah, all we need to do now for the castle are these two sections at either side of it. We've got this massive tower right here, then that massive tower all the way over there. And they're both connected by bridges right here. I'm thinking we could just do the classic arch bridge. I think that should be pretty easy and simple to do. So let's do that. So I'm just going to try and figure that out, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, you know what? That wasn't too difficult to figure out. I just used these curved cylinder pieces. I thought that was probably going to be easiest and wouldn't take much of our time up, but I do want this to slightly be arched though, so what I think I can do for that is literally just do this, which is just slightly angle it up like that. Something like that. It's just a tiny bit. I think it should add a lot. Now we've gotten the base in, we just need to detail and make it actually look like a bridge. I think in the middle right here, we are going to have like this sort of archway going over the top. For the arch, we're going to be using once again these pieces, the curved cylinders. Now I just need to complete this arch and actually make it look a lot better. So give me a second on that. Okay, a few minutes later, this is what we've got. And yeah, it's nothing crazy. I don't think it's bad. I've of course got a lot of hexagons going on to keep it pretty consistent with the actual main castle. I got a lot of spheres, a lot of the same color palette. I really like what's going on down here. I just got like a couple of wedges on either side of this main primitive to make it sort of look like one of those supports that are actually angled on a bridge like this. And yeah, I quite like it. I think what I need to do is actually like copy and paste this and add one on either side here. You can see how that looks actually. Okay, I've got it all grouped. We should be able to just easily move it here. Oh, that would not look good. How about on the other side? And you know what? I like that. All we got to do now is actually just detail this bridge up. Oh, I'm gonna do that real quickly and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, just something like this. It's pretty simple. I haven't done much. I just outline the arches and add a little bit of a blue accent to it, and also like these overhead wires. And I just thought they looked kind of cool. What I think we can do now, since we finished that, I think we can just copy and paste it over here. There's no reason why we can't. So I think if we just grab these two towers and then the outlines right here, yes, we can actually rotate the entire thing. Okay, this might be a bit tricky to try and get accurate. I think that's pretty much spot on. Let's just place that down. Get rid of the red primitives right there. Okay, there we go. As the entire bridge just copy and paste it over. So now if we zoom out. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. That's actually transformed this build. I'm really happy about this is looking. And the back is very weird. I really need to do this bit. So you know what? To make it look less weird, I think we ought to finish this circle piece right here. So you know what? You've seen a lot of building. Let me just clap my hands like this. And we have completely finished the back of the castle right here. It's pretty simple. I just detailed the entire back, adding a whole bunch of hexagons along right here, and a bunch of coral, and yeah, I quite like it. It's quite nice. So all that is left to do now is this tower and that tower. So let's get started with building this tower. First of all, let's build the island that it is standing on. All we need to do is just grab these pieces that we used for this island, and then just place them around here, just following the red outline. And now I think we just can fill up the island with just some sand. Okay, there we go. I just filled it all in with sand, also a little bit of grass. And now I don't have a specific idea of what I would like this tower to look like, but I do think I want it to be cylindrical. That's a word. Instead of really harsh, like square box. Yeah, look at that. That already looks a lot better. So I guess I'm just going to work from the bottom of this tower. I definitely want the bottom of the tower to be a lot more thicker, so it feels like it's actually supporting it. So that does mean we're going to have to bring the entire tower in a bit. I kind of like this shape we got going on. It gradually gets thinner and thinner the higher it goes. And then it's got a little dome shape out the top. I feel like domes domes are just great for roofs. So now I'm just gonna detail all of this up. And for that, I don't really have any ideas. I'm just gonna go random with it. So let's get cracking. Alright, here is the tower finished. And I really like how it looks. Really just a whole bunch of cylinders and a whole bunch of arches. I also hollowed out a part of the tower right there. And not only that, I did change some of the roofs. Like some of these domes. You can see the tower, this tower, that massive building back there. I did change them to look like glass domes. My dad actually gave me that idea. I really like how it looks. It just changes them all up from being, you know, stone domes. And also, I am a bit under the weather today. So if you notice anything different, you're just gonna have to bear with it. I do apologize, but we gotta get cracking on this tower right over here. So let's get started. First of all, I'm gonna change this once again from a square to a cylinder tower right here. I think it will just look a lot better. Yeah, like that. There we go. I'm gonna get rid of this red block right there. I don't think I'm gonna have a tower attached to this one. I think this is just gonna be its own separate thing. And now, just like with the other one, I want it to ever so slowly just get thinner and thinner the higher it goes. Okay, yeah, I think a shape like this I like. I actually want this bit right here to be hollow. I don't know why. I just really like how it looks. And now let's just paint everything the base color, which is of course the dark gray. And then just color the few things that I want to be light gray. And then make all the columns holding it up. Now this piece lately has been coming in clutch. Gonna use once again the clipped calendars glue. What did I just say? You know what I mean, this thing. Because look how great they look for arches. And I'm just gonna copy and paste this all around. Nice, like that, yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna make the roof a glass dome. And I think I'm gonna actually have like whatever these are all around the roof. Yeah, just like that, just to give it a little bit more depth and detail. I do need to actually add these window frames right here. So give me a second on that. Right now, I'm just gonna add all these details down here. And I've also got a cool idea. It's like that I want to do right here. So I'm just gonna do this and I'll... Yeah. Okay, I've just finished up these details on this tower right there. And I think I finished it. Now, it does look pretty similar to this tower, but it doesn't look the exact same. So I think that's good. And I really like it, to be fair. What I want to do now is actually add the little thing I was talking about. And it's essentially a mini bridge that doesn't have any purpose or use. It's just there for looks. So let's have this just coming out right here. And I want it to come out like this far, maybe? Yeah, something like that. And I want to give it more depth by adding more pieces to it. Like that, just these bits extruding out of it, so nothing crazy. And I think what could be cool is if I grab these triangular pieces, actually whack a cool little design, go throughout the entire bridge like so. Let me just paint it to see how this will actually look. And I think that looks quite nice. And I'm just gonna add these supports, made out of just some hexagonal primitives, just going all the way down to the floor. And there we go, that's just one section of it done. I feel like that looks quite nice, actually. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna group it all together, like so. And just copy and paste it a few times like this. Oh yeah, look at that. I really like this. I did just really quick, just detail these up just a bit, add in some, like, you know, I don't know what this is called, but like, you know, little waves crashing up against all the supports, and then just make the supports look a bit more interesting by having them go in and out a bit. And I think it really adds quite a nice shape to them. But you might be thinking that is the entire castle done. And although I do want to add a little bit of coral to all of the stuff that we've just made, yeah, for the most part, this entire castle is done. We are already 16 hours into the challenge. Oh my days. How's it 16 hours? Okay. But although we've finished the entire castle and the back, we still have this piece right here left to do, which is just going to be a little small island. Actually, you know what? We could just, yeah, not even build it. I like that idea, which means we can get straight onto building other stuff than the castle. We've still got like 8 hours to go, and I really want to add some sort of creature. I don't know whether that would be like a kraken, or like I drew up in the reference image, some flying fish. I think the one that I'll probably enjoy more, and I could also make look real sick, is building a kraken. They're like my favorite mythical creature, and it would be really nice to try and build a kraken for like the first time in like 4 years? Up that by 1,000% and build huge kraken tentacles just coming out the water and attacking this castle. So you know what? Let's do that. First thing I think would be really cool is to have a tentacle attacking this bridge, and like this bridge will be in half and all be in ruins. I really hope this looks good, because otherwise I'm destroying something that looks really cool. I feel like for this we can just grab a huge cylinder and just angle it coming out of the water like so. I just need to make this look like it's attacking a bridge, so give me a second of that. Okay, a few minutes later, and I built this. I really like the shape that's going on. It really feels krakeny. That's not a word, but I like it. Think before anything, we should paint it. Yeah, look at that. That's nice. But the bridge doesn't. I mean, the bridge does look nice, but it doesn't look realistic if a kraken was holding onto it. So I'm just gonna spend some time just trying to make this look like it's broken and just getting smashed. that's a poor choice of words. And there we go. All I used for the debris are just small little triangular prism pieces. They really do look like chunks of the build just flying off into nowhere. And I also added just like larger chunks of the build just to give it a bit of variety, and a piece of the bridge just flown into the water. I do need to add some like little foam pieces around it. But apart from that, I like that. What I also want to do is just actually detail this tentacle more, because just the pink line coming out of the water doesn't look that great. What I actually want to do is actually just use these wedge pieces and try and make them look like water coming off of the tentacle and just dropping into the ocean, sort of like that. I'll add a lot more, but just like the debris, it will give it a sense of movement and just life, really. So give me a second. Yeah, something like this. You get what I'm trying to do. Just adding like little water droplets, because it just came like shooting out the ground. I think that looks good. I'm gonna leave it. And now it's time to detail the actual tentacle itself. So I think it would be just around here where the suckers would go. I could use these pieces. The H sphere. That could work if we just do that all the way up this tentacle. All right, that's the best I can do. It's very tricky to use that primitive at these sort of angles. But if we just look at it from afar and not zoom up close to it, I think that is a very welcome addition to this build. Now I just want to build a few more. I'm not entirely sure how many a few is, but just enough so it feels like, you know, a Kraken's attacking the build. Like we could actually, this might be tricky, but we could have one just swirling around this tower as if it's about to squeeze it and crush it. That might just be way too difficult though. And you know what? If I just spin around like this, and here we have it. I finished this tentacle right here going up this tower. I really like how it's looking. I added all these water effects down here, a whole bunch of coral on this tower, and the bridge over there. I also added a Kraken tentacle up here, which, I mean, doesn't make much sense because it's coming out the bottom of the building. Not entirely sure how I feel about it, but I definitely wanted another tentacle in. What you may notice is the fact that there is a coaster here, or a bit of the coaster. I wasn't originally going to do this, but I thought, why not? We've got around 6 hours left. It might ruin the build, but why not? Let's add a coaster. And I thought, let's go with the extreme launch coaster right here, just because, like, I mean, look how cool it looks. And I actually had an idea. We've got all these towers going around the castle. What if we actually had a drop track lift the coaster up throughout, like, the inside of the tower, and then there's a massive drop which will bring you onto the main part of the coaster. I just think that'll bring the build and the coaster together in a nice way. Let's get it done. And after a few hours, we finally finished the layout of this coaster, and actually the entire coaster, pretty much. It did take me a few tries to get a layout that I like, but I eventually got this. And yeah, it's nothing crazy. I quite like it though. You may notice that I did get rid of the massive tentacle that went there, and to be fair, I feel like it looks a lot better without it. It just looked like a massive purple splodge on the castle, which looked a bit weird. But I think we do have enough money to do something here in this little underground bit. I just think we need to make it look a bit better. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and we'll see how it goes. I'll see you in a second. And a while later, this is what it's looking like. It's just a black screen here, but don't worry, it gets better. No, it doesn't. This sucks. The only difference is that I added smoke emitters to the entrance and the exit of this cave, because without it, you just see the mess that is this. But it did cost me every single penny I have. I literally have $0 left to do anything. I don't think I've ever hit $0 before in this game. But here, I can show you how this looks. The coaster comes around, and then the smoke emitters go away on both sides, actually, and then the coaster goes, and then the smoke rises back up. It's sort of like a door, essentially. So on the POV, you're not just smashing your face through stuff all the time. And with that, I'm gonna call this challenge it. I think we've finished. We are nearly on hour 22, but I literally have no money left and no Robux left. And also, how the freak did this cost $5 million? But if you did enjoy, please do subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I might return back to this project and do 50 hours inside a theme park Tycoon 2. Adding a whole bunch of stuff on the beaches, a whole bunch more Kraken tentacles, with a whole lot more money. Let me know what you think down below. And if you really want to help me out and support the channel, become a member. Here are all of my members on screen right now. Thank you guys so much. You make videos like this possible. This video's taken me so long to make. I appreciate you guys. Later.